All right. Good morning. It is Saturday morning. We are going to go ahead and we're just going to jump right into, we've got a lot to cover today. This is not the last Facebook Live session of 2017, but it is the second to last. And we're going to cover 3 non-spoiler movie reviews, Friday's box office, and then also I've got some best of rankings that we're going to do. So let's go ahead and get into that here. We'll give it just a second so everybody can hop in, and then we will get going. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is Saturday morning. This is Brunansky's vlog. Good morning. It's Monday morning. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jeremy Brunansky with Brunansky's vlog. I've got my iced tea. I've got my iced tea. I've got my iced tea here. I've got the box office report from this weekend. Let's go ahead and take a look at one news story then that dropped this morning. We are live right now. We are going to cover Friday's box office. So for this weekend's box office, on these Facebook Live sessions, we do like to cover the weekend box office. So what does that mean? That means that this is pretty impressive, as you'll hear in a minute. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, so don't worry. In theory, that film should have done gangbusters. This movie is so much fun. I think the rewatchability factor is super high. Wow, this was actually a fun time. I'm on board. Sign me up. Game over. If you're watching this on replay, thank you. All right, let's just get into it. Number 5, number 4, and number 3, number 2, and number 1. All right. We are back. We are live. This is Facebook Live, and we're doing something special today. So along with Facebook Live, we are also shooting this at the same time on Periscope. Excuse me. So hello to everybody on Periscope. We just crossed on Twitter. We just crossed 600 followers on Twitter. So that was a nice little bump to see. That was a nice little internet Christmas present, if you will. So we were pretty happy about that. So I wanted to just drop a Periscope live stream at the same time we're doing this Facebook live stream for all the Twitter followers in case they haven't seen what we do on Facebook Live twice a week. So hello to everybody on Periscope. Hello to everybody on Facebook Live. If you guys are watching this on the replay on YouTube, hello to you as well. We got a lot going on today. So today we got a lot to cover as well. We've got 3 movie reviews that we're going to be talking about today. I got out to see 3 films, The Shape of Water. I got out to see The Greatest Showman, and I also got out to see Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. So we're going to talk about those. I also have some best of rankings for 2017 that we're going to do towards the end of the show after we get through everything else. But first, as we always do on this show, we do like to do the box office results. So we're going to talk a little bit about Friday's box office, who came in number 5 all the way to number 1, and then just maybe analyze the numbers a little bit further to see kind of what's going on as far as movies are concerned and how you guys are spending your money this holiday season. So let's just jump right into it here. Coming in at number 5. As you know, we go from number 5 to number 1. And coming in at number 5, we have Ferdinand at $2,760,000. Number 4 is The Greatest Showman at $3,125,000. Number 3, Pitch Perfect 3 at $10,618,000. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle at $12,500,000. And Star Wars, The Last Jedi at $24,680,000. So Star Wars still doing well, despite some mixed reactions online. There's a lot of fanboys that are losing their mind over this film. Yeah, it happens. I personally enjoyed the film. I did have some issues with it. It is by no means a perfect film. I did recommend, if you guys saw my review, that is on the movie review playlist on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, you can just go ahead and check that out. If you're watching this on the YouTube replay, I'll go ahead and just throw that review up right here for you guys, and you can just click on that little card and it'll take you right there and you can check it out. But otherwise, I recommend people see it. It's a fantastical looking film in that there's a lot of really cool action sequences that really take you to a galaxy far, far away. So, but again, the writing in it, I had some issues with, but then on the other hand, I really enjoyed the writing. So it was it's very polarizing, as we said in last week's Facebook live stream. But as far as the new films, I got to give a shout out to Ferdinand. John Cena is voicing the bull that was made for fighting but born to love, I think is the slogan. So, hey, out of all the films that were released this week for theaters, Ferdinand is still in the top 5. So job well done to everybody who worked on Ferdinand, because The Greatest Showman, Pitch Perfect 3, Jumanji, I expected to see those, because I mean, Pitch Perfect 2, I think did gangbusters, if memory serves, when it came out. So I wasn't surprised to see Pitch Perfect 3 in the mix. But, you know, Star Wars, obviously, we talked about how that's probably going to be number 1, but I thought Jumanji might bump it. Jumanji could still bump it. We don't know. It's still early in the weekend. A lot of people go see movies on Christmas. Maybe they don't see Star Wars because they've already seen it, and they go see Jumanji instead. We'll have to wait and see. And we'll have a look at that, you know, not Monday because Monday's Christmas, but we can kind of look back at the weekend box office as well to see if my predictions were accurate or not on next Saturday's Facebook live stream. So we'll have to wait to see for that. But if you want to jump in on Christmas time and check it out, you can always message me on Twitter at Brunansky's Vlog and just say, hey, Jeremy, you were right, you were wrong, whatever the case may be. You can just shoot a tweet to me at Brunansky's Vlog on Twitter. So feel free to do that as well. But yeah, so Ferdinand, great job there. I haven't seen it. I probably won't see it unless my nieces and nephews are like, we have to see this movie. Then I might go see it. But otherwise, I have no interest in seeing it. But let's take a look at some of the other films that are in the top 5. Now, if you remember from the last Facebook Live session, I thought that out of all of the films that were being released, Downsizing, the new Matt Damon movie, was probably the one that might see the lowest as far as weekend box office opening. Right now, it looks like I might be wrong on that one right now, because that came in at number 6, and then number 7 was Coco, and then Darkest Hour, which I'm looking forward to seeing. I did see Churchill, which came out earlier, and I enjoyed that. So I'm looking forward to seeing this other version of the story with Gary Oldman, because it's getting really good early reception right now. So I'm pretty pumped to see that. I might go see that at Christmas. We'll have to wait and see. Father Figures, and then Shape of Water. And then coming in at number 11, one of my favorite films of the year, Wonder. Wonder coming in just under $1 million at 806,000. So it wasn't quite enough to actually break into the top 10, but my goodness, what a run Wonder had, staying in the top 5 for the first 5 weeks and then just plummeting all the way down to number 11 in its 6th week, I believe. So kudos to Wonder for a job well done. If you haven't seen that and you want a good family Christmas movie, definitely recommend Wonder. But otherwise, Father Figures, not surprised, that just came out. The Shape of Water coming in at number 10. I was at a family Christmas thing last night. My niece and one of her older cousins, it's like right in her age range. They write and direct and get all of the kids in their family, which my brother has 4 kids, and then my sister-in-law's family, they all have kids. So it's like Lord of the Flies during the holidays. There's just children running around everywhere, and you have no idea what's going on. At least I don't, because I'm not a parent. But I'm sure all the adults are like, yeah, that's what kids do. But they do, anyway, they do this, they write and direct, and they get all the kids to do this Christmas thing. So after they did their Christmas play, which they did a very good job with, I was more impressed with the fact that my niece was able to corral all these children, because the play was like 10 minutes. She was able to corral all these children to like stay focused for 10 minutes on this play and do a pretty good job. So hats off to my niece. Good job for her. I gave her a high five last night for that. But anyway, after that was over, I was talking to my brother's in-laws about just different movies I've seen, and they weren't familiar with Shape of Water. My parents weren't familiar with Shape of Water. So I feel like, as someone who talks movies pretty much all week on different social media, I am not doing my job to let people know about these movies that are coming out that they need to see. Shape of Water is one of these movies you need to see. We'll get into it in a minute when we move into the non-spoiler reviews, but it's a really good film. And if you like film, you are going to really appreciate this movie. Guillermo del Toro, knocks it out of the park. But anyway, yeah, so I'm really happy to see that The Shape of Water made the top 10. Not sure how long it will stay in the top 10, but hopefully it survives the weekend. And we even see it move up the ranking, because that would make me happy to know that people are getting out to see this very artistic and layered and complex film. Yeah, really good. All right, so that's the box office. Let's take a look at the board and see if anyone's left any questions about the box office so far. 1 second. Let's pull this up here. All right, no questions as of yet. All right, so since there's no questions about the box office, we are going to just jump right into some non-spoiler movie reviews. And again, those 3 films that I was able to see: Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, The Greatest Showman, and The Shape of Water. So the first movie I saw, thank you to MoviePass, because MoviePass is wonderful. I paid for the full year up front, which was $90. And I was talking to my parents about how great this service is. And they're like, well, we're still trying to figure out what to get you for Christmas. And I was like, I'll tell you what, Christmas present for Jeremy would be just pay for my MoviePass, since I've already paid for it. So thank you to my parents for that awesome Christmas present of paying me after I paid for the MoviePass. That was a wonderful Christmas present that I'll be able to use all year. So thank you for that. But MoviePass, you just show up, you say, I want to see this movie, you swipe the card, and then you go in. You don't pay anything. It's just a monthly service fee like Netflix. It's fantastic. So I've seen 11 movies, I think, now on MoviePass. So it has more than paid for its initial investment. So very happy with MoviePass. Anyway, this is not a MoviePass commercial. This is a non-spoiler review. So anyway, I got out to see, we'll go in the order I saw them: Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Now, I was very interested in this film when I was like watching like the early trailers and kind of reading and hearing about the news, and as we talked about it on the show, because The Rock and Kevin Hart, they just have a great chemistry together on screen, and then you add everybody else that's in this movie that's just very talented. And I had thought that this was going to be an entertaining film. I was right; it was very entertaining, but it's actually a well-written movie as well. It's not just like a goofball action adventure film. Like, it actually feels like a video game when you're watching it. So there was this game I used to play when I was a kid, and I think the game is called Escape from Monkey Island. And you'd have to you just go through the game and you'd meet somebody, and you'd either have to fight them or you would have to have like an insult war with them, and you just throw insults back and forth. You'd have to it would give you a list. Like, the guy would say something, and then it would give you a list of responses. And if you got the response wrong, you lost. So you had to learn, and so there was that aspect of that, video gaming in this movie. Like, they'd walk up and they'd talk to somebody, and the person would just keep repeating the line over and over until they said the right thing to trigger the next response, because it's an avatar. They actually did a really good job, trying to create a video game atmosphere for the new Jumanji, which I really appreciated. I was like, wow, they really put some thought into this. Then they also, at the very beginning of the film, they explain how it goes from the board game that we knew back in the 90s with Robin Williams, right? How the board game transitions to become a video game. They explain that too. So the movie's not perfectly written. There's some goofy things that happen, but overall, it was a really well written, fun adventure action meets kind of fantasy-ish movie. I want to caution everybody that has kids. If I was talking to my sister-in-law about this last night, because the first question, they said, how was it? And I said, have the kids seen Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom? And she said, no, it's too scary for them. I said, then they cannot see Jumanji, in my opinion. And it's only because of the villain. Now, the villain, this is a spoiler. I'm not going to give anything away about what the villain does, but it's a spoiler for how he looks. So I'm not ruining anything in the movie, but I might be saving you from having to deal with kids who are having nightmares. So the villain controls animals and insects. And during the film, he's got millipedes and centipedes crawling in and out of his face. At one point, a scorpion crawls out of his mouth. There's some gross stuff that's going on with the villain. So if your kids, this is just a spoiler warning for the parents. You do what you want. You're an adult. But if your kids can't watch Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, they probably shouldn't see this film. But hey, it's up to you guys. You're the parents. So that's my 2 cents on Jumanji. I really liked it. How much did I like it? I'll show you. When I was leaving Shape of Water, there was a little marketing thing going on for Jumanji, and they had these free movie posters, so I picked up a movie poster. That's how much fun I had at the movies. So I'll be framing that. That'll be going up on the wall here. I just got to go get a super cheapo frame for that at like Michael's or something. But it's a really fun action adventure film, and they do a good job with the writing, enough so that it's entertaining from start to finish, basically. So check it out. And then next up is The Greatest Showman. Now, I think I might be getting old because they always say, like, when you start clinging to the ideas of the past and you can't embrace what's happening in the present and moving forward in the future, you might be getting old. And that's how I feel with musicals. I get that there's this new revolution that's happening in musicals where, like, it's pop tunes. It's not like the Stephen Sondheim kind of big orchestral, like, musicals. As a guy who was in musicals a lot growing up, musicals have always had that very Broadway sound. And it's always been that larger than life kind of, not operatic, but like a mixture of operatic meets like jazz or classical kind of popular music thing going on. You always knew, you're like, oh, this is definitely from a musical. And The Greatest Showman, I felt like if you wanted, you could turn on your radio, and you could hear all of the songs on the radio. It did not feel like a musical at all. It felt like Taylor Swift and Katy Perry and any other number of pop artists like got together and they're like, we're just going to make some songs that have to deal with the circus and, like, you know, embracing who you are and a sense of community and trying to achieve your goals. And that's what we're going to do. Because at no point during this film was I like, wow, this is a total musical song. None of it. It all just felt like, wow, this could be on, like, well, for me, it would be like, this could have been on, like, you know, Kiss FM or, you know, K-Rock or something like that or whatever. But it never felt like this is a musical. It felt like, oh, these are a bunch of radio songs set to a musical vibe. And it was just weird for me. So maybe I'm getting old. I don't know. But the songs were fine. I like the songs. One of the songs sounded like it came right out of Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine. And I was like, oh, this is like starting to like move in my seat in the theater. And I was like, get it together, Jeremy. This is a theater. This is not a dance hall. But music's really good. It wasn't like the musical vibe that I was used to. As far as the story goes, the story's fine. There's a lot they're trying to tell in a short amount of time. So everything is very surface level. They don't really go deep into anything. And that to me is kind of weird because of one thing that they're trying to do, which is like try and tell the story of a forbidden relationship, right? And so you'll hear more on my actual review. I'll dive into this a little bit more, but like the time period that this film takes place in, if you're going to touch on like forbidden relationships, like you really should pay more attention to like what's going on like during that time. Like this takes place during the Civil War. So like, it's just kind of laissez-faire kind of attitude. Like, it's like we can, but we can't. Like, and you're like, the Civil War is going on. Like, this should be a lot more emotional and dramatic than what I'm getting from you guys right now. So stay tuned for my full review on that. I'll go into it further there. But again, this is not spoiler. But overall, The Greatest Showman is fine. I didn't walk out of the theater like snapping my fingers and just like wanting to tap dance my way to the car. Like, it was just like, I was like, okay, this is fine. This is fine. And again, the music is fine as well. You know, you could put the CD on or download it or stream it or whatever and just drive to wherever and you'll do fine with it. Again, all the songs sound like they belong on the radio. So, you know, hey, there you go. Check it out. Especially if you like musical, like dance numbers, choreography in this was fantastic. I mean, everybody was like step for step, beat for beat, like out of everything that this film did, the one thing that they nailed, in my opinion, was the choreography and the dance numbers because it was spectacular. So if you like dancing, definitely check it out. All right, moving on to the third one, Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro. Now, I remember hearing a rumor that he was in line to do like some aspect of the Dark Universe, and maybe he was going to do the Dark Universe was like Frankenstein, Dracula, the Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon, etc., the Invisible Man. And I heard a rumor forever ago, I could be mistaken about this, but I thought I heard a rumor forever ago about how he was in line to direct one of these films. And then it fell through, and then all of a sudden we got Shape of Water, which is literally the Creature from the Black Lagoon meets a love story, meets the Cold War, like Russian spy thriller. There's a lot in this film, and the pacing of the film is great. The cinematography in this film is great. The story is great. I've been waiting to see this movie for so long, and my expectations were through the roof. And this film took me on a path around the roof, above the roof, and then further up into the sky. Like, I cannot wait to go back to the movies to see this film and just take in everything I didn't get the first time, because this film went so many different places than I was expecting. I was just sitting there like, this is absolutely brilliant. I love Shape of Water. I've got the poster on the wall behind me. Cannot wait to see this film again. Definitely recommend it. There's some surprises and some twists in it that are just so well done. And especially with the creature, the creature from the Black Lagoon-ish looking creature. Like, there's some things that happen with him that I was just like, that is such a fresh approach to this character. Could not enjoy this film more. Definitely recommend that you guys get out and see Shape of Water. Now, I will caution you, as I said, it's Creature from the Black Lagoon meets a love story. So you have to be okay, and you have to be in a mindset of seeing the Creature from the Black Lagoon hug people and like have a connection with people. Because if you can't wrap your head and have a mind open enough to be like, I could see how someone would want to hug the Creature from the Black Lagoon, this movie is going to trip your brain out. You'll be sitting in the movies and you'll be like, I have no idea what I'm watching right now. What is going on? But if you can open your mind up to just like, okay, I can see how someone would want to hug the Creature from the Black Lagoon, then I think you'll be okay. I think you'll be okay. So that's my only caution to people, is you just got to understand that at one point in the film, there's hugging, and you gotta be prepared for it, because otherwise it might freak you out. And you'll be like, what did Jeremy just recommend we see? It's a fantastic film, but if you can't, like, if that's just going to freak you out, please don't go see this film. Just go see Jumanji instead. So there's the 3 non-spoiler reviews. Out of the 3, my favorite, Shape of Water. Coming in second is going to be Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Coming in third is The Greatest Showman. Each one completely different from the other, and each one special and unique in its own way. So each one worth your time in the theater if you like those particular types of film, or if you just want to expand your horizons and see something that you're not used to seeing. All right, let's move on now to some best of 2017, and we're going to do some rankings. First, we're going to do Star Wars. So now that I've seen The Last Jedi twice, we're going to go ahead and get into that right now. And this is the ranking of all of the Star Wars films, including the Clone Wars, which I still haven't seen. But including the Clone Wars, like all the way down, kind of what I think the ranking is for how much I enjoyed each film. So we're going to start there. And coming in, there's 10. There's 10 in total right now, including Clone Wars. So coming in at number 10 is the Clone Wars, and I have to put them there because I have not seen the Clone Wars movie yet. So Clone Wars is by default number 10. There's not a slight on it saying that the movie's not good, the story's not good, the animation's not good. I haven't seen it, can't speak to it. Defaults to number 10. Coming in at number 9, Phantom Menace. I cannot stand this film. The pod racing drives me nuts. I don't understand what's going on. It's such a detraction from the original trilogy. If you watch it in order by episode, like later episodes don't even make sense because of the writing. It's super weird. The only thing that's great about the Phantom Menace is the lightsaber battle at the end between Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then the music that goes along with it. Everything else in that movie is hot garbage. Get rid of it. Coming in at number 8, Attack of the Clones. Again, same thing. I don't know what's going on in this film. It's a departure from the original canon. It kind of screws things up. I don't understand why Anakin's getting older and Padme's not. It's like the Force can accelerate and decrease the speed in which we age. Super weird. I don't get it, but whatever. That's coming in at number 8. Coming in at number 7, Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith, probably the most palatable of the prequels for this guy. The end fight scene, right, between Anakin and Obi-Wan, pretty good. The stuff that happens with the Emperor towards the end is really nice. It kind of touches on some few things. So there's some redeeming things in Revenge of the Sith that kind of elevates it above the other two, in my opinion. But still, overall, not that great. Coming in at number 6, The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi, again, like I said, very polarizing for me. There was stuff I absolutely loved, and there was stuff I couldn't stand. So, yeah, I was just like, look, and it goes to like online, Rian Johnson's been doing a lot of explaining. And when I feel like you really have to explain the movie, that means the story wasn't told well enough that people understand it. And this is not a slight on him or or what he did. It's just like the writing in the film, like awesome. And then what is going on? But I think overall he did a really good job with the film and like some of the characters, some of the choices, as you heard in my review, I would not have done myself had I made it, but hey, they did it. They took a risk and that's on them and it's making money. So good for them. And there's a lot of people that like it. There's a lot of people that love it. There's a lot of people like me that are like, meh. And there's a lot of people on the internet that are like, burn it down. Whatever. Go check it out. But on this list, it's coming in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, The Force Awakens. Force Awakens, I enjoyed. I know a lot of people were like, it's a rehash. I didn't see it as a rehash. And one of the things I absolutely love about this movie is the fact that it introduces us to new characters and new worlds. And it does it in a really thought-filled way. Like I got the sense at least that they really were thinking about how are we going to create all of this brand new stuff in such a beloved franchise that is going to seem familiar, but also fresh. So it's going to be new, but still kind of like leaning towards the old stuff that everybody's accustomed to and enjoys. And I thought they did a really good job with that balance and bringing it to the forefront of conversation again in a positive way. And also the theme for Rey, I have that on my iTunes. Like it pops up on my phone when I've got shuffle all for my music. The theme for Rey is fantastic. I mean, there's just songs in this that are great. So coming in at number 5, The Force Awakens. Coming in at number 4, Rogue One. I really enjoyed Rogue One. I know I got some beef from some folks online with pacing and story structure and stuff like that. But overall, I thought the job they set out to do, I thought they did really well. Were there scenes in the film? Were there scenes in the trailers that were not in the film? Absolutely. Did that ruin the film for me? Not at all. I really enjoyed the setup and how they were working everything to give us this prologue basically to A New Hope. And I really liked it. I liked the new characters. Cassian Andor, I loved his character. In fact, his character, I've got a Funko Pop of his character on the wall, on the shelf back there. Like his character, when they introduced him, I was like, this is my guy in the movie. Like I dig this guy's character. And then it just kind of played from there. You get the new guys, Maze Albus and Shure, like they're back and forth that they had as buddies, like Force sensitive. And then the other guy's like, meh, whatever. But like everything about this film, I really enjoyed with the characters. Again, the story, yeah, maybe there's some pacing issues and stuff like that. But I thought what they set out to do, they achieved. And then come on, that end scene with Darth Vader just mowing down folks. Like at the very end, the last 5 minutes was just like, I'm on the edge of my seat and I'm like, yes, that's Darth Vader. Like I loved it. I loved it. So for me, that's coming in at number 4, and that is Rogue One. Coming in at number 3, Return of the Jedi. When I was growing up, Return of the Jedi was everybody's favorite. It was not my favorite. I did really like it. But then now that we're older, for some reason, everything has switched. And there's a whole conversation that we could have on that we'll get to in a second. But Return of the Jedi concludes everything. I thought they did a good job. Ewoks are fun. Moving on. Number 2, A New Hope, the one that started it all. We get to see a lot of new characters, obviously. We're taken to different worlds. We have a whole new story. The fact that they made it just to make it because they didn't think that it was going to make enough money to warrant a sequel. And they're like, they took the Marvel approach. Well, Marvel took their approach, right? So every movie could be their last movie. That's what happened with Star Wars. They set out, George Lucas was like, we're going to make it. It might not make any money, so we're just going to make one story that I want to tell. And then here we are today, several years later, 1977 to 2017. So 40 years later. So incredible. So yeah, I've got nothing negative to really say about Star Wars: A New Hope. Coming in at number 1, Empire Strikes Back, my favorite of the franchise. I remember watching this for the first time as a kid. The movie ends and I'm like looking around my parents' living room and I'm like, did the bad guys just win? the bad guys just won. And that blew my mind as a kid. And so Empire Strikes Back is my favorite. And I think now that we're in an age where like you have shows like Breaking Bad and like Dexter and like all these other films where like you're rooting for the bad guy, I feel like maybe now all of a sudden that's why everybody likes Empire Strikes Back. Because when I was growing up as a kid, everybody was like, you like Empire Strikes Back? No way. Return of the Jedi is so much better. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I like Empire Strikes Back. So Empire Strikes Back coming in at number 1. All right, so that's my ranking. Recap: Clone Wars, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Last Jedi, Force Awakens, Rogue One, Return of the Jedi, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back. So go ahead, and if you're watching this on Twitter for the Periscope, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, or if you're watching this on YouTube Replay, go ahead and throw your ranking in the comments below. I'm curious to read what you guys think about the Star Wars franchise so far and where you place each of the films after you've had an opportunity to watch them. All right, so last segment of this week's show is going to be the best of comic book movies in 2017. That's right. We had a lot of comic book movies. In fact, I thought I saw all of them. And then when I was doing my research on this week and I was going through everything, I was like, there are movies out that were comic books that I didn't see. It blew my mind. So the honorable mentions, the ones that aren't really comic books, but they could be comic book movies. Honorable mentions this week: Power Rangers and Transformers: The Last Knight. I know Transformers, the TV show, and the comic books, I believe, came out in the same year of 1984. I looked it up enough to get the data. I didn't really dive deep into it. So I don't know if the comic books came first and then a few months later the show started, or if the show started and then a few months later the comic book started. But throw it in the comments below. Send me a tweet if you know the answer to that question. And that way we can move on with this topic. But yeah, honorable mentions this year: 2017, Power Rangers, Transformers: Last Knight. 2 films that came out that I didn't even know were graphic novels were Wilson and My Friend Dahmer. So I need to check those films out because I didn't even know those were based off of graphic novels. I was doing my research and I was like, oh, learned something new today. So I missed those. But there are 11 other films that came out that are movies based on comic book source material. So coming in at number 11, we've got Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. This film is a visual spectacle. If you like movies that look fantastic but have okay stories, definitely check this out. It's on Blu-ray. Worth your time if you're a visual movie watcher. Like, that's what you watch movies for, is special effects and CGI and like how they create worlds. If that's your bag, this is your film. Coming in at number 10, Ghost in the Shell. I actually enjoyed Ghost in the Shell. Not familiar at all with the original source material. So I went in with completely fresh eyes, and I didn't have any of the baggage that other folks online had where they're like, this isn't like the original. Because I was like, I don't know anything about the original. I enjoyed it. Not a great film, but an entertaining film, and the story is adequately written to the point that it made enough sense from start to finish for me to enjoy it. Coming in at number 9, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Still can't get past the fact that a planet needs an avatar. Why doesn't the planet just consume them like it was kind of doing already? I don't get it. Coming in at number 8, Kingsman: The Golden Circle. My goodness, did this movie get dark? And I was not expecting how dark this movie got. But a nice follow-up sequel, plus hearing Mark Strong sing John Denver was oddly satisfying. I don't know. All right. Let's go with number 7, Justice League. I enjoyed Justice League. I saw it a couple of times in theaters thanks to Movie Pass. I only had to pay for it once, and then I got my Movie Pass, and I was able to see it once or twice more. Yeah. So, not a great film. A lot of story issues. Obviously, like, it was a rushed production. But, hey, the overall story delivers from beginning to end. It doesn't really make 100% sense, but it makes enough sense that the film was enjoyable for me. And who doesn't like seeing all of those characters on screen together fighting one big bad guy? This guy sure did, and it's coming in at number 7. Number 6, Atomic Blonde. Again, didn't really realize that this was based on a graphic novel and comic books. So when I went to see it, I had fresh eyes and fresh mind about the whole thing. And then afterwards, I was doing my research on the film, and I was like, oh, who knew? I didn't. But I really enjoyed it. I thought Charlize Theron did a great job. I thought the action scenes were fantastic, especially when they're like in the stairwell going into the house and everything, like, or the apartments. I thought that looked great. So if you haven't seen Atomic Blonde and you like spy thrillers set in the 80s that are very 1980s, check this out. It's on Blu-ray. Coming in at number 5, Spider-Man Homecoming. I really like Spider-Man Homecoming. Got it on Blu-ray. It's back there on the shelves. But it was an okay film. I thought there were some issues with the story. I really liked Michael Keaton's character as a villain. I thought he brought a lot to this film. And I don't know that I would have enjoyed this film as much as I did if it weren't for Michael Keaton's performance. I just thought he was a great villain. And I hope he comes back in future Spider-Man films. Coming in at number 4, Lego Batman movie. As somebody who grew up on Batman and loves Batman, I've got a gigantic Batman book back there that covers his whole history in comics. I love Batman. I ate this movie up like candy. I saw it, told my family about it, and then we all went and saw it as a family together. And then I think I saw it one more time by myself. If you're a Batman fan, this is the Batman movie for you. It takes everything that's great and goofy and dark about Batman and just throws it into a blender and makes a delicious Batman margarita for us to enjoy. Like I just sat in the theater the first time I saw it and I'm like, they're just spoon feeding us, like, and then subtly spoon feeding us like these little Batman things that have happened throughout the years of Batman comics and TV shows and cartoons and everything. I was like, this is so good. So Lego Batman movie. I got that on Blu-ray. You should too. Check it out because it's coming in at number 4. Number 3, Thor Ragnarok. My goodness. There's a couple issues I had as far as too many jokes because I thought they could have let some of the tense moments be tense instead of having to like come back to a joke time and time again. The two that always stick out in my head is when Thor is talking to Valkyrie and he's throwing that ball and like he's like, that's what heroes do. And then he gets bonked in the head. I was like, we didn't need that. And then also when like Hulk is talking to Valkyrie or Bruce Banner and he's like, I got this. And he jumps out of the plane. I wanted to see him land as Hulk and now we're moving, but instead slapstick humor. And I was like, we didn't need that either. In my opinion, they went for it. It worked because it made a bunch of money. And I really enjoyed the film enough that it's coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2. Number 2 and number 1 were very, very difficult for me. The dividing factor between number 2 and number 1 comes solely down to the ending and the villain of the film. And the reason this film is coming in at number 2 is because of the villain at the end. It felt very computer generated. It was very CG. It was very goofy for a movie that up to this point had been very serious and dramatic. And then the ending, it just kind of goes, wah. And I was like, but still a brilliant movie. Super excited to see the sequel. That is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's coming in at number 2. Love Wonder Woman. I thought this was such a great step for DC Warner with this film. Now that we know they're capable of making good movies like Superman Returns and Man of Steel, Man of Steel and Wonder Woman, like let's get that train going and let's get more films of that quality in theaters instead of like Suicide Squad, Batman versus Superman, and Justice League. Thank you very much. All right, coming in at number 1, Logan. My goodness, this is a film. The rewatchability for some people is really high. This is a film for me where I like watch it once or twice. I'm like, that's really good, but I don't need to like keep revisiting the story of a guy who's trying to figure out who he is now that he's older. And like, because it gets dark, it gets really depressing at points. Like everybody in this film, Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, everybody in this film does such a great job in their role. I will not be surprised if this film is up for some Academy consideration next year at the Academy Awards. So check out Logan if you haven't seen it. It's not, I mean, it's a movie based on a comic book, but this is a coming of age tale and it's absolutely wonderful. It's a brilliantly done film. So coming in at number 1 is Logan. So just to recap before we go, coming in at number 11, Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, Ghost in the Shell, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Kingsman: The Golden Circle, Justice League, Atomic Blonde, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Lego Batman Movie, Thor Ragnarok, Wonder Woman, and coming in at number 1, Logan. All right. And that is pretty much going to wrap it up for us this week. Let me just, before I sign off, let me just check the board, make sure we don't have any questions. Nope, no questions so far. All right, so we're looking good. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope it's Christmas Eve. So I've got my ugly Christmas sweater on. So I hope you guys, I've got yours ready for your holiday parties that you've got going on here. But yeah, I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas. I hope everybody's done with their shopping and everything like that, so you don't have to deal with the crowds today and tomorrow, because whew, count me out. I'm not going to be doing it. So I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas with your friends and family. We will be back. We will not be Facebook Living on Monday because Monday's Christmas, and I won't be here for you guys on Christmas. I will be with family. So I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas. We will be back next Saturday before New Year's Eve. I believe that'll be New Year's Eve, just like this is Christmas Eve. So check it out. We'll be back next Saturday. We will not have a Facebook Live on Monday. We do not have a brand new episode on Monday. As I stated last week on last week's episode, that was the season 1 finale of Brunansky's vlog. We'll be back in 2018. We do have movie reviews that are going to be posting to the YouTube page. So go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and then also check out the YouTube page. Make sure you click that subscribe button so you can get the full reviews coming down the pipe for Jumanji. Also, Shape of Water, The Greatest Showman, Darkest Hours coming out, Molly's Game's coming out, Phantom Thread's coming out. There's a lot of films coming out. Oh, and before we go, I did want to show you guys this. So on the screen here, you can see, if you're watching this on Facebook Live or on YouTube Replay, you can see I just popped up a quick screen fill here. If you guys are watching this on Periscope, it's not going to be available for you guys, but check it out on the YouTube Replay list. So next year, here's what we have to look forward to. Black Panther, New Mutants, Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Deadpool 2, The Incredibles 2, Venom, X-Men Dark Phoenix, Aquaman, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is an animated film dealing with Miles Morales. So, I mean, this is pretty great. We've got a lot of films coming out next year that we can be excited about for these properties. Avengers Infinity War, 10 years of storytelling. 10 years of storytelling culminating in one film. I cannot wait. I'm on the edge of my seat. Just get this film out in theaters and let's get this thing going. Right now, Avengers Infinity War is my most anticipated movie of 2018. 10 years of storytelling, people. 10 years of storytelling. Cannot wait to see this film. Anyway, yeah. So hopefully everybody has a great time with their holiday. Hopefully everybody has a great time with family, friends, and everybody else for Christmas. And hope you guys are able to not just receive the gifts you want, but give the gifts you want so that everybody knows that you're paying attention and it's a good time and you don't have any like weird family moments, right? All right, guys. Well, I am going to get out of here. It has been a wonderful time talking with you on Christmas Eve. Have yourselves a Merry Christmas. Again, no episode on Monday, no Facebook Live on Monday, but we will be back next Saturday for a brand new Facebook Live that's going to cover the year in review and box office and maybe 1 or 2 non-spoiler reviews as well. So have yourself a Merry Christmas, and I will see you guys next Saturday right here on Facebook Live, maybe on Periscope as well. We'll see. And then also check us out on the YouTube replay. All right, guys, have a Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.